Hello all, very good morning. Thanks for joining the session. Let me share my screen. Hope all of you now able to see my screen, I believe. Let me welcome to the demo 3. I think this is the demo 3 where we have done the demo previous 2 demos. So this is the demo 3. So in previous 2 demos, we might have discussed about what is the course overview, prerequisite, downloading the source code, materials, and how you will get the recorded videos, duration, and then fee. So probably we discussed these 2. Then we might have discussed about existing application understanding and then requirements understanding. I think we have started this requirement understanding, and then we understood the project concepts modules, meaning we started understanding the project concepts and then modules. As part of it, we discussed what is MVP and retail e-commerce business, I think. Then I have shown you the backend application. In that backend application, I believe Shopify super admin is what I have shown the demo, the super admin functionalities and all, like how the users can be exported and all is what we have seen, right? So let us continue from here, and then let's see what are all the other modules that we have, right? So we have seen the users module, who is created by the Shopify admin. Let me quickly recall because a lot of gap came, right? So let me quickly recall what we discussed. So agenda. This is not first demo. This is the third demo. Okay. However, let me recall what we discussed in last 2 demos. So we discussed about the existing project understanding. We started understanding the existing project. So why we need to start understanding the existing project? Because to understand the requirements, and to analyze the requirements. Why we need to understand and to analyze the requirements? Yeah, I'll explain. So existing project understanding is what we have done, and then requirements understanding, understand the requirements and then analyze the requirements. So before I proceed with this one, let me talk few things. Maybe few members, 1 or 2 members may be newly joined. Okay, so point number 1, this is an add-on session to the 8:15 a.m. Java real-time project batch. Project batch started a week ago. A week ago, we were started a Java real-time project batch. So this is an add-on to that. So prerequisites are, of course, Java 8, and then Spring 4. And if you have the Spring Boot, well and good. So this is the prerequisite. Duration is 75 days. And then fee is 8K INR. Okay. And then what you will get in this 8K INR, videos access plus material access. So these 2 you will get. And material access is there for course completion time into 2. That is, course completion is 75 days. Then material access will be available for 150 days. And videos access is there for sale. 75 days is for course completion into 2. That is 150 days. The videos will be available. So videos can't be downloadable and shareable, whereas you can download the material and share. I don't have any issues. Okay, so this is about the course and how many years of experience you can showcase. So you can showcase, it's up to you. If your document supports, if your documents supports, you can showcase 2 to 6 years of experience. 2 to 6 years of experience you can showcase if your document support. Yeah. Okay. So yesterday's session not happened actually because I have worked on some production issues since Saturday, Sunday we are working continuously. However, so in the website it was mentioned Monday, but yesterday class was not happened. So again, today onwards the classes happen. Okay, so these are all the things. Okay, so if your document supports, you can put 2 to 6 years of experience. So what kind of project is what we are doing? Okay. Point number 1, our domain is, the project domain is retail e-commerce. And project is Shopify platform. And project architecture is microservices architecture. And what is the type of this project is? This project is brownfield project. Okay. And how many microservices we may build, right? How many microservices we build? 15 plus microservices will write here. Okay, so this is about the project, retail e-commerce domain, and then we Shopify platform. Architecture is microservices architecture. It's a brownfield application, and then 15 plus microservices will be built. So timings are every day from 8 a.m. to right now, meaning for few days I'll take 8:15 a.m. to 9:30 a.m. But later on time, maybe after a week, I'll change it to 8 a.m. to 9 a.m. You can attend the sessions, but if your office timings and all is the problem, then you can drop off at 9 a.m. Then you can start to offices. So 1 hour classes plus 15 minutes. So plus 15 minutes doubts clearing. So I'll interact with you. So live doubts clearing. Any suggestions you want to get from me or any suggestions you want to give to me. So all those discussions let us do for the next 15 to 30 minutes. Okay, so how the material will be accessed? The material will be accessed through the classroom, Google Classroom, and then the videos will be uploaded to your drive. So whatever the email you will give to that drive, the videos will be uploaded. Fine, so that is about the project. Okay, sir, you used a few things like brownfield. What is this? Right, so what we're going to do exactly? Right. That is what. Now we're gonna build the microservices architecture, right? So by this time, probably you have completed, you are coming to this project batch in a sense, you might have completed all your Spring Boot or maybe the microservices, or maybe you completed at least the Spring Core by this time, isn't it? So microservices is what our architecture is. So when we see the microservices architecture, okay, do you have the sample e-commerce project you completed earlier? Do you want to see that? Yeah, just see this. Okay, just let me open. Just let me open the existing project. Yeah, able to see this? This is what the existing meaning whatever the batch last time happened. So that batch, we have written this code in the last batch. So it's not e-commerce site, it's what e-commerce application. There is a lot of difference between site and application. Yeah. So the end product is okay, however, so let me showcase you now understanding the existing project. Code is we have written in the sense end product is also there now. But we have to run this code. A lot of infrastructure is required now. I have to start the WSO2. I have to go there, AWS, and then start the Redis cache. There's a lot of setup has to do. But however, let us go with this one. So existing project. So let us start from this. What is brownfield? Brownfield means, so when we do the microservices migration, existing project. So greenfield meaning developing the microservices from scratch. Brownfield meaning already we have an application. So we have to migrate it to microservices architecture to meet the few requirements by solving the design problems by solving the architectural design problems in the existing project. The existing project have some issues, and if we feel like those can be fixed using the microservices architecture, then migrating that architecture is called as what? Brownfield. Migrating the existing application to the microservices architecture is called as what? The brownfield application. So greenfield meaning you'll have the requirements, you directly will start the microservices. Earlier, no project is there. We are starting this microservices from scratch. So that is the greenfield. In real time, almost all 70 to 80% of the projects are brownfield. I mean to say 70 to 80% of the microservices architecture project. This is very important. Microservices architecture projects are on 70 to 80% of the microservices architecture projects are on brownfield. So we also will go with this brownfield application. That means we'll take the existing application and then we'll migrate it to the microservices architectural model. So for that reason, we need to understand the existing application first. So our vShopify platform suite is having the two applications. One is the backend application. Second one is the front-end application. Okay. Monolithic application, I don't share. This monolithic application, I don't share. Rather, you will get this redesigned one. Okay, whatever the application I'm showing now, this is for me. This backend and then front end is for me. And then this the redesigned code I will share with you. Okay, however, first of all, what we will do, let us see. So let us understand the existing application and let's migrate it to the new system, meaning microservices architecture. So when we migrate to microservices architecture, our UI will be the React.js. Our UI will be the React.js. So when we say React.js, it requires the services to get the data, right? So it will get the services. It requires the services to get the data. One moment, guys. So let me kill this port number. Kill port in Windows. Just give me a moment. Seems to be somewhere in this 8082 port is still running. Let me just kill this port to make this application up and run. And let me check what are all the applications that were started. So no application is started. So 8082 is in use. One minute, I'm just trying to starting the applications. This is class not found. Roll to permissions. Okay, 1 minute. And there is missing URL. Just give me a moment. Okay, 8080. First, let me kill this port. We open it as a administrator. And then first, let me kill this port. Let me find out the port number that is already running. Yes. So there is something running on the port number. Let us kill it. So go here, let me kill this port number and then start the application. PID is 4680. Done, terminated. Now let me go here and then start the first backend application. Let me start this first backend application. Let's see. Yes, so the backend application is started. Now let's go to localhost 8082 vShopify platform. So this is what the backend application. So let me log in the credentials. I think bad credentials. We'll log in with some other credentials. Yeah. So this is what the back office application. We have two kinds of applications we have: front office and then the back office application. So this back office application we need to build as this one. Just let me open the window. Let me showcase you the new UI, how the new UI should looks like. Just let me open the new UI. Okay, this is the React application. So let me start this and then showcase. Go to terminal, a new terminal. This is the React application. Let me showcase how we need the UI and what are the problems with existing UI and all we discuss. So let me just say npm start. Fine. So mean the time it will start. Let me showcase you the it is starting. Okay. So mean the time it will start. You can see here point number 1. This dashboard is the role-based dashboard. That means RBAC implementation we have to do. Role-based access control is what we have to do. Second thing, based on the role when this dashboard is displaying, what are the roles and all we have? How to be, how we have to decide the roles and all, meaning how many types of the roles we have and what is the constraints that, how many roles can be assigned to a user, right? So only one role can be assigned to one user. Only one role can be assigned to one user. So this vShopify admin is the super admin, super user who can create the other users. So here is the other users. Super admin can be create these other users. Not only creation, manage the other users. Our new design looks like this. You can see this customers, orders, products, categories, dashboards. Of course, backend microservices are down now. Hence not able to show this, but new design is like this. If possible, let me showcase you the wireframes. Just let me showcase you the wireframes. Yeah, so these are all the wireframes. Yes, new UI looks like this. Orders, current order status, new order, tracking order, shipment status, products, categories, and then the dashboard. Whereas the older UI is like this. So we have to convert this to this one. Here UI doesn't matter, but the point is we have few issues here where those issues we need to address in our microservices architecture. So what are the issues, what we need to achieve and all? I have prepared a document. In the document we can see, meaning the business use cases, requirement understanding document. So all the documents we have why we are going for this microservices architecture. So existing project concepts and then modules we can understand from here. So how many modules are there? How many roles are there, right? And then what module is due for what is what I have already prepared a document, including the business requirements flow. What are the business requirements flow and all? Okay, in this project, we are following the architecture. This is our architecture. So we are using AWS. First of all, we have to build the AWS. This is production architecture. I'm strictly talking about production architecture, not the dev production architecture. So this is what the production architecture is. So where we have the lot of AWS services we need to use. The first is VPC. That's what in the infra setup, AWS account creation, create AWS VPC with 2 availability zone, AP South 1A, AP South 1B, in Mumbai region or maybe in the Hyderabad region. So whatever is the region, that doesn't matter, but we need to prepare the VPC. So that is this VPC. And see this is the availability zone 1, availability zone 2. So in this availability zones, create a public and then private subnets in each availability zone. So this is the public subnet, this is the private subnet. This is the public subnet, this is the private subnet in each available zone. Next, create and configure the route tables for the public and route, for the public and then private subnets. Create a NAT gateway. So this is the NAT gateway you can see. This is the NAT gateway we are creating, and which is chargeable, and create an internet gateway. So this is what the internet gateway, and then load balancer. So create and then set up the load balancer, network load balancer, which is chargeable. So this is what the network load balancer. So again, purchase one domain, purchase a domain like vshopify app.in, the GoDaddy, and configure the domain in the AWS Route 53 service. So here is AWS Route 53 service. The domains will be purchased. Purchase domains will be configured here. Then add the load balancer to the DNS at Route 53. So whatever the load balancer we have taken, that we have to add it to Route 53 so that the users can access the application with the domain name, not with the load balancer DNS. With the domain name, the users can access. And those URLs are not secured. In order to make them secured, we need to use the AWS Certified Manager, AWS Certificate Manager. This is what that AWS Certificate Manager, we have to create one certificate, and then we have to add that certificate at the load balancer. So our application becomes the HTTPS. So we can access our application on the HTTPS. So this is what the infra setup. I can showcase you now how the infra setup has been done for the earlier project. So just let me sign in. Why I'm explaining all these things? Just to bring you the confidence that you will learn 100% real-time project here. Just to give you that confidence, I'm now showcasing all these things. Okay, these are all already have done. So for you also, I'll explain all these things. Let me go here. From the very scratch, we'll build this. One moment, let me log in with my creds. Yes. Now, yeah, you can see, go to EC2. Right, so go to instances, running, you can see here. This is the WSO2, this is the Redis cache. Let me run these two, start instances. So we already have the, I already have created the load balancers here. I'll explain all these things once we started, but right now it's not the right time. See, I have created the load balancers for Redis cache, and also for the IAM server, I created the load balancers. So these load balancers we have configured at the Route 53. So Route 53, we have configured, we purchased one domain and then we configured here. I'm not sure whether that domain will now work. I think it should work because I have not touched anything. I have not done any changes. That's the reason this domain should have to work now. Let's see. And these are all the records you can see. Cache server, IAM server, DNS, LB DNS we have added here. Perfect. Now this is, if you don't know AWS, AWS is the prerequisite for this project. Yes, without AWS, nowadays everyone is using minimum AWS, right? So AWS is the prerequisite. If you don't know AWS, my previous AWS batch videos will be shared to you guys. You just have to go through it. And however, I will again do this from the scratch, right? So at that moment also, you guys can see, and then you guys can practice the same. So minimum 5 to 6 services we will use here. Those 5 to 6 services you can complete. Okay, now it seems to be these are started. Now let me try to access this im.vshopify app.in. Excellent. See this? This is our certificate. Connection is secure, certificate is valid, vshopify app.in. So here we have the application. This is what our IAM, Identity and Access Management Server. If you can see in the architecture, this is here, Identity and Access Management Server. So this IAM server will use, and we also using the Redis cache. So Redis Lite is the client to connect to that Redis cache and see what are all there inside the cache. So go here, and yes, this is what our vShopify app storage. Yes, we have the tokens. So let us delete these tokens, and we have this. Let me remove these. So what I mean to say is, when the user will be authenticated here, when the user will be authenticated, the token will be given by this WSO2 identity server. That token we can dump into this cache. Later time, this token will be taken by the gateway and verifies the token that is coming from the front end is equals to this token in the cache, their lifetime, validity, etc., signature, all, if all are matching, then gateway will route to backend microservices like category, products, orders, and all. So when the category, orders, products again called by the gateway, these guys will again verify what is the token they are getting, what is the token there in the cache, both are equals or not. Two levels of validation of the token we are doing here to ensure the application is secure, robust. Okay, so this is what the architecture components. I believe you have now seen WSO2 and then Redis cache, isn't it? Then we have to build these microservices, not this. We have to build these many microservices. Authentication service, brand service, category service, payment gateway, API gateway, order service, payment, products, service registry, shipment, and user management service. So these are all the services we were Dockerized. So we were Dockerized, and these are all the services. For all these services, we'll maintain the Docker containers, meaning our mode of deployment is what? Docker containers. So how we can deploy them? Let me showcase. Maybe, yes, this is what it is. Docker Compose. Yeah, you can see here. Not this one. Let me go to Cloud Native Apps. Yes, this is what you can see. So infra services, we have the IAM server, service registry, event store Axon server, gateway, and then zip-key. So these are called infra services. And business services, categories DB, authentication service, and then the authentication service, and then the user management service, category service, brand service. So these are what? Business services. So infra services and then business services will deploy using this Docker Compose. No, it is from the very scratch, very scratch. We are not going to modify the existing project. How you feel? If I modify the existing project, what you will get? You don't get anything. So from the very scratch, we will write. That is the reason it is taking 75 days. If the existing project, if I modify, it don't take much time, right? So we will do the application from the very scratch. Okay, meaning microservices we will develop from the very scratch. Okay. Now, yeah, deployment is mainly using Kubernetes, correct. But this project batch doesn't cover the Kubernetes. Till Docker, I'll cover. And using Docker, we will do the production deployment. If you want to know the Kubernetes deployment, it is a separate batch, separate course. I will start where you have to pay and then join. Okay, but this will cover till Dockerization. Okay, so this is what the architecture. You can see everywhere, every service is Dockerized. Deployment, again, Kubernetes deployment, if you want, that will be a separate course and then separate plan for it, because Kubernetes itself will take 1 month. Kubernetes itself will take 1 month to understand and then familiar with the Kubernetes. Within the 75 days plan, we can't embed that Kubernetes. Again, 60 more days will increase. 30 more days will increase. That's the reason I have taken off from our course list. Meaning this project stack. One. Sorry, guys. And here you can see RabbitMQ, Apache Kafka, Grafana Prometheus, Jipkin, and ELK is what we are using to make our microservices as an ecosystem. That means these are all the enterprise services, distributed logging, distributed caching, to handle the transactions in microservices. We are using the Saga pattern, and event-driven communication we are using the Kafka, and then all the microservices metrics we can see in the distributed monitoring dashboard called Grafana, and all the microservices communication trace we can see in this Jipkin dashboard. All the microservices will be registered to this registry, and all the microservices related configurations will be maintained in the config server. So UI is the React.js. Once we complete one service, then we go and then integrate it with the UI. And once we've done the next service, then we go and then integrate with the UI. So UI integration, backend development will go on side by side. Here, React.js, I don't tell from the scratch, meaning what is React, what are the components, what are the services, architecture of the React. I don't want to discuss all those theory, but from the very scratch, I will create the React project and I will integrate these wireframes, whatever the wireframes I have given, I have shown, right? So these are the wireframes. These wireframes will integrate with our React application, and then we will start integrating our backend microservices. But the theory around it, I won't cover because we don't have the time to cover that, right? So our main focus is integration with the backend services. So you may be a full stack here. But again, if you want to learn the React.js, yeah, go and then join in some other courses where you can learn the React. Fine. So are you following the agile methodology in real time? These institutes basically, especially in the institutes model, agile methodology, sprints model, this doesn't work for us because we are not work full time, right? You may learn for just 1 hour, 1.5 hours, and then you may leave. That doesn't work for us. If we follow the agile model, then there is a lot of things we need to consider, right? So like the requirements to be delivered on time, the sprints we have to take, and then we need to have the scrum calls. There's a different story. So, but here what I will do is requirements I'll implement. You guys will attend the classes. Then you guys will practice. If any questions, any doubts, any errors you will get, you will reach out to me over the Telegram channel, or maybe in the next class, you may ask that questions. That is how this model will execute for us. But to have the knowledge on what is agile methodology, what is Scrum, what is Sprint, how those will be, I'll take one session on that agile methodology. That is last, when we complete our project. So non-technical stuff you need to require to know before attending the interviews. So non-technical things when we are discussing, then we will discuss this agile methodology and all. Before you are attending the interviews, we'll discuss. Fine. So I think you may have got the glance idea about the project and how it will be. And if you can go to the setup and all, around 30 plus, 35 plus services we are using. Around 35 plus services and tools, not only services, but around 35 plus services and tools we are using. Let me go and then get it. One moment, guys. Maybe this is not the updated one. Infra setup. Just let me open this. Around 30 plus services we are using. I mean, 33 or 34 will come. Services and then the tools, including both 35 will come. One moment. Let me check that infra. Yeah, I don't have them here. One moment. One moment. Let me just look for the updated document where I have added it. Okay, I think it's not the updated one. Whatever I'm showing to you, I'll get the updated one and then I'll showcase it tomorrow. But however, what I would like to tell you is, yeah, so around 32 or 33 services, 34 series. So around 34 services and then the tools we are using here in this project. So MySQL we will use H2 in-memory database, MongoDB, because if you can see, one service is using the MySQL, other service is using the MongoDB, one more service is using the DynamoDB, and again one service is using the MySQL. Different databases we are using. Why different databases? Yes, we have a meaning for it. We have a strong meaning, strong justification why we are using different databases. When we start, I'll explain what are the different databases we are using, meaning why we are using. I'll justify. Okay, so different databases we are using here. This is called polyglot architecture. Now, different tools also required to use when we use the different databases, or we are using the cache and then Kafka and database workbench and AWS S3 bucket we'll use, Argson server, RabbitMQ, Apache Kafka, Twilio for the messaging OTP sending purpose, and then GSMTP we'll use. GSMTP with the SendGrid we will use. So GSMTP is not working now. So we will use the SendGrid as the mail server, and then Keycloak or WSO2. So we'll use WSO2. Then Git or GitLab we'll use. Config server, Eureka registry, Ribbon, Fin client. These are all the ecosystem services. You mean Spring Cloud services. And again, we can use this EC2 instances, EC2, autoscaling, EIP, AM, all 10 to 11 services we will use from the AWS point of view. I'll explain those services, what are all. Again, we'll use the JMeter for performance testing, Postman, and then OpenAPI, Apache Maven, Mobile System Client, Docker, Test Containers, Model Mapper. So these are all the tools, services we are using in our project. So going forward, you came to know how we will use and all. That's all, guys, from my side. Yeah, one last thing I need to update. IDEs. if anyone is familiar with the any IDE, that's well and good. You can go and then use that. But preferably, I would like to prefer Spring Tool Suite IDE for the Java development, Visual Studio Code for the UI development, and this Draw.io I will use for the architectural documents design. Draw.io or there is UMLlet. UMLlet is what I will use for the architectural design. So that's all, guys, from my side for today. Any questions for me? Any questions? Great. Okay, so that's all.
Hi, Narsi.
Hey, hi, Bikram.
Yeah. So, I mean, will you share that? I mean, like you will convert that static pages to React, right? So we will
Correct.
share that those static pages also while
Correct.
we are coding.
Correct. These wireframes I will give. Whatever the wireframes I have shown now, these wireframes I will give.
Okay. Okay.
I will
Thank
share
you.
this. Yeah. Okay. So any more questions? Okay, fine. Great, guys. Thank you so much. And tomorrow is tomorrow and day after tomorrow. Probably tomorrow is the last demo. So because I don't want to waste your time, because nothing we will discuss in demos, right? So just the plan and all we'll start in the demos. We'll just discuss the plan and all. I believe the plan and all, how I gonna execute and all, I have cleared. Tomorrow is the final demo. I would like to showcase a few things before you're gonna join and then enroll. Then, as per your wish, if you feel it will be helpful, go and start your registration process. Thanks a lot, and then see you tomorrow at the same time. That is 7:15 AM IST. Thanks a lot.